Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called How Humans Deal with Muscle, written by XR171. I was on temporary assignment with the famed Terran Marines. We were studying their boarding methods, and they our close combat tactics. Overall, it was a great exchange, with both of us developing new methods. I had spent the previous day with the company's 3rd platoon tossing each other around, as the sergeant put it. We had agreed to use today to recover. I was slightly surprised when their CO, Captain Jason Fox, contacted me over the comm.
Jor, I have a surprise for you. I bet with all those muscles you're probably hurting. I know something that might help. Care to join me?
He stated by way of greeting. Yes, I am very sore, but I'll be ready into action again in a couple of days. I've heard the pain-dulling effects of your suits, but I'm not sure I'm ready for that, I replied.
Nothing like that. It'll be relaxing, and you'll feel sore, then amazing. Pick you up in 20?
Yes, I'm intrigued. Yes, I agree. 35 minutes later, we were walking into a place designated as Divine Touch House of Healing. I assumed that we were going to a clinic of some sort, only the atmosphere was unlike any clinic that I'd ever been to. Instead of being cold and sterile, it was warm, slightly humid, and welcoming. Good morning, stated the person at the front desk with a smile that I could only describe as inviting.
Hello, I'm Jason Fox, and this is Joel. We have a 10:30 and a 10:45.
Great. I'll have you both checked in. Joel, since this is your first time, I have a couple forms for you to fill out. I'm sending them now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. My data access terminal beeped, indicating incoming traffic. Jason and I sat down. I'd sat on a couch and easily took up almost half of it. The form seemed standard for medical treatment, asking about previous injuries, sore areas, concerns, medications, and more. Within a few minutes, someone came to take Jason back. I completed my forms and returned them when someone came to get me. Hello, my name is Jenny, owner and operator. Before we begin, I want to talk to you for a few minutes. You're the first Roth client to ever have a massage on Earth. I have to be honest, I've been studying your muscle and anatomy since Jason made the appointment, and I'm eager to try, but I can't promise the same benefits as a human. Well, I understand. You've been training for humans and I'm not one. I assume that you see no danger in this massage, though, I replied. None at all. I just may not be able to work the tension out of your muscles as effectively, she stated. I must admit to being confused. Muscles are normally tense, are they not? That's what muscle relaxants are for. I don't see how you could, work the tension out. She chuckled lightly. On Earth, we humans find it very effective and relaxing to have another person manually apply force to our muscles. Ours tend to develop these spots we call knots. Having someone manually loosen them can feel mildly uncomfortable during the process, but wonderful afterwards. That is my goal with you today, to manually undo the muscle tension. It may feel slightly uncomfortable during the massage, but I truly hope you'll feel better after. That's why I've been studying not only your anatomy, but your culture and preferences as well. I'm here to learn. I will comply, I stated. Thank you, Joe. Please follow me, she stated. I followed her into a large room. The first thing I noticed was how brightly lit it was. In the center was what the humans called a boulder, a large flat rock that I could spread out on. There was a small hole where I'd place my head, the perfect size to lay on and bask. The air was humid too, almost thick enough to swim in. Joe, human customs for a massage is to disrobe to a level that you feel comfortable at. Any area that you leave covered, we tend to take as a sign that you prefer not to be touched. We never take offense to it. I'll step out while you do so. Once you've disrobed, please lay on the rock face down. There's a spot there for your face. There's also controls for lighting, temperature, and humidity of this room, and for the rock. You're welcome to adjust them to your ideal comfort, Jenny explained, and then stepped out. I never considered myself a modest person, plus the experience so far was very fascinating. I disrobed completely and laid on the rock. I could feel the heat soaking into my skin, just like a hot kaila oil I use at home. I adjusted the light controls, and the light stayed strong, but took on a more red hue. I felt almost as if I was home, basking on the roof at sunset, an activity I'd always enjoyed with my father. The humidity was cleansing. I was already feeling relaxed. I heard a light tapping on the door, followed by Jenny entering. "It looks almost like sunset in here. I like it," she stated. "I've done a lot of research, so I'm going to start with the skin cleaning, then we'll move on to the massage. If anything feels uncomfortable or less than enjoyable, please let me know." With that, she took a small brush about the size of her hand. She dipped it into a pail of water that I could see steam rising from. The moment the brush touched my back, skin felt amazing. The bristles were firm but not tough. She started at my left spine, just under my neck. Her pressure was firm. She was cleaning an area, then used a towel to wipe away any dirt. While I knew I was clean, I could feel tiny bits of terror washing away. I'd become attached to this world, but cleaning it away made me feel more raw. A feeling I could only describe as home. I felt the brush as it scrubbed my left leg. She used a small brush between my toe claws, which felt amazing. I had to admit that I wasn't always the best at cleaning between them. I groaned slightly as she worked a tiny pebble out that had gotten stuck the other day in the sand pit. The process was repeated on my right side, head and then front. I thought of home, being bathed by my mother and foremother at the bubbling spring of their homestead. By the time she was done, I was already feeling amazing. Jenny then explained that she would start the massage using her hands, then transition to her feet for extra pressure. I agreed already, feeling relaxed. I felt her hands where my neck and shoulders met, using her entire palm to examine and apply pressure to muscles. I still had my doubts on her ability to perform any major help. Raw muscles are much denser and stronger than that of humans, combined with the fact that she was barely 2 meters in height. I could not see her small frame applying any meaningful pressure. Yet, I was more than happy to give her the chance, especially after making my skin so happy. She then worked her way down my back. I suspect that she was just checking my muscles against her textbook knowledge. Her touch was becoming quickly familiar to me. After she had worked back up to the neck, she whispered into my ear, "Now the fun starts. I might be slightly uncomfortable. Let me know if it is, especially if it hurts." I then felt her hand going to my shoulder. Only this time, it felt like she was almost trying to grab a lung. She held her hand there for a moment, and I felt my muscles relax. Then she released the pressure and moved her hand over the skin a few centimeters away and did it again. Each time she did this, it felt uncomfortable in a very mild way, but great once relaxed. After my shoulder, she grabbed the back of my neck in an almost choking manner. Had I not been used to her touch, my instincts would have had me slam her into the closest hard object. Instead, they told me to let Jenny work. Her hand worked its way up the back of my neck. When she reached the bottom of my head, she worked her way back down. My neck hadn't felt this great in years, I had to admit. "I'm going to transition to Ashashisu," she stated. I could hear her step onto the rock with me and heard her lean against a cloth of some sort. I felt hot oil being poured on my back. The scent was similar to Kyla oil, but slightly different. Again, the heat was amazing. Though I was beginning to get concerned for Jenny, I knew human comfort limits tended to be well below our own. Then I felt something else on my back. It felt like a boot, but soft. I realized it was a foot. She worked it around my right spine. The pressure felt almost like a warm, heavy rock rolling on my back. An amazing feeling. Anyway, I had tension, she found it, on her own mission to search and destroy. The broad sole making large sweeps, the toes reaching for details, and the ball working deep, deep under my skin. Sweep, probe, pressure, discomfort, and then it went away and became the pattern. I felt I might melt into the rock and have to be scraped up before too long. Once everything on my backside had managed to relax, she had to help me turn onto my front. It was then I noticed a large beam hanging from the ceiling and the canvas appearing cloth. I can assume that she leaned onto it and held onto the beams to support herself. I noticed a sheen of sweat on her skin. "Are you okay?" I asked. "Gorge is a very hot world and our cities are humid. I do not desire for you to suffer." She smiled. "Thank you. I appreciate the concern. I really do. I used to be a botanist and I worked in the Amazon here for years. I learned to find the heat and humidity comfortable eventually. I still sweat like any other human, but it honestly doesn't bother me," she answered.
You might want to visit my world sometime then. You might find it comfortable.
I suggested. Shh, she said gently, silencing me. I was happy to comply. I shut my eyes and let my mind wander, and she started on my chest. Again, her pressure was firm. It seemed she used her planet's gravity to enhance her own strength. Again, the relaxing pattern repeated itself. After she had finished my legs and arms, she came off the table. I felt like warm rubber and assumed the treatment was done. She surprised me by grabbing my left hand and pulling it gently away from myself. She then placed a palm on the rock and then seemed to grind her elbow into my palm. Combined with the heat of the rock and her pressure, my muscles had no choice but to surrender. This was repeated with the other hand and both feet. Again, I was surprised as she moved behind me. She cradled my head in her arms and gently pulled it away from my body. On the battlefield, this would have met with a vicious attack, but here it was compliance and respect. Then I felt her palms gently squeezing from both sides. Again, my muscles could only relax. I had not felt this good in decades. I felt like a young recruit eager to start their training. I felt her pull away. Joel, this concludes the treatment. I hope I helped you. I'm going to step out now. Please take your time getting dressed. There's hot tea over there for you. I think you'll like it, she stated as she pointed to a small table with a cup of steaming liquid. She then stepped out. I had to lay there for a moment as I adjusted to the new feelings. Soreness and some pain was simply a part of row life. We had medications to help when needed, but this was unheard of. I knew I would need to draft a report and that the upper echelons would need to learn about this. I grabbed a cup and took a drink. I later learned that it was called green tea, an amazing drink. It satisfied my thirst and rejuvenates. I got dressed again and realized something. This massage concept, if embraced, could change my world. I owed a great debt to Jason, but also to Jenny. As I walked back into the room where we entered, they were both waiting for us.
How was it? Feel better?
He asked. I am unable to accurately describe how good I feel. We have no equivalent to this in my world. It is expected that one gets used to being sore as one ages. You are both in my debt. I'm glad that I could help, Joe. It was my honor. Plus, I get to be the first human to massage a row. That's something, Jenny stated.
Happy to introduce you to something new, Jason replied.
I don't think you understand. I haven't felt this good in 70 of your years. Quite a time, even for me. I have something to offer you, both of you. Thank you, Joe, but Jason has already paid, Jenny stated.
Yeah, man, no worries.
No, something deeper. I reached to my collar and removed my clan's pin. On my world, family is everything. You two have introduced me to something that has the potential to reshape my world and deepen ties between ours. It would be my honor to accept both of you into Clan Highjaw. It is no insult for you to turn it down, and the offer will always remain, I explained. Is that like a marriage proposal? Jenny asked. I was married once, and it's not something I plan to do again. No, I think the closest term is like a blood brother and sister. You would each be a full-fledged member of my family. You need not relocate, as families often spread apart in space. But in time and our home fires, you would always be there, and always welcome.
I think I need to think about this. Plus, honestly, I gotta clear it with the chain of command. Not sure where the Corps stands on an officer accepting a great honor from an officer of another military, Jason explained.
Me too. I honestly want to research this some more. I'm truly honored, but this is a lot, and pretty fast, Jenny chimed in. Of course, please take all the time you need. You may take forever to consider this without offense. Please keep these cons, symbols of my clan. Should you decline, I only ask that you return them. That was some years ago. Jenny and Jason both accepted. They each plan on visiting my home village of Front for our Festival of the Sun in a few weeks. My commanding general took some convincing to believe that a massage could be so beneficial. He had to visit Earth himself to understand. I think the Terran generals may have felt slightly offended when he cut his reception short just to see what Jenny could do. Since then, ties between Earth and Gort have deepened. Despite their supposedly weaker strength, human massage therapists hold a place of honor amongst us. The great houses, the Grand Army, the High Navy employ them. Even businesses seeking the best employees have hired human massage therapists to entice the best workers. I believe that we would have eventually discovered this on our own, but the fact that an ally, a training partner, introduced us informally to this spoke volumes about the humans.
Though I am confused by my friend. That simple massage has caused so much prosperity for our great races, and yet he still says it didn't have a happy ending. End of story.
I would just quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Dragon Soup, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Severin Cerberus, Red Panda 121, Leslie 517, Bushmaster 177, Caspar Arnold, Cam Maxwell, Sans the Skeleton, Lightjock, Dragzoon WRE, and Lord Azrakal. Thank you very much.